Parker, just in terms of your on-the-field experience, how was it different having your defensive coordinator there on the sideline versus up there in the booth?
It was nice. It was the first time having Grinch down there. He brings his intensity and his perspective, and especially being a DB kind of in between. He can give you some pointers that face to face that you can maybe pick up on a little better than if he was up in the box.
For a team like Boise State that does do a lot of pre-snap stuff, they're a fairly complex offense. It seemed like you guys adjusted that pretty well over the course of the game. Was that related at all to him being there?
Yeah, I think so. I think him just being able to keep us calm and focus us. There's a couple plays here and there where they got us out of position, but we worked on that a lot at practice because that was a big part of their game plan, and he was able to kind of calm us down and get us back on track if we did have a couple plays where we misaligned or something.
Obviously an improvement from week 1, but I don't think you guys were happy with it. What's the key improvement heading into week 3?
Consistency. We'd have drives where we'd get them 3 and out, but then we'd also have drives where we'd give up explosive plays and then touchdown. And I think our biggest step as a defense to take next is being able to replicate those 3 and out drives, or being able to, if we don't get them 3 and out, not feeling like the drive is lost just because we didn't get them off the field in 3 downs. So I think our red zone defense has to improve going forward. We haven't been as good as we want to be in the red zone so far, but it was improvement. But yeah, we're definitely not where we want to be yet.
Coach said he thought you guys beat Boise in every aspect except toughness. You agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I think I could agree. They won the game, and at the end of the day, they had more points on the board than we did. And there's definitely times during the game where I felt like we weren't as physical as them, and that's on nobody but the players ourselves. That's kind of a mental thing you got to say, is that I'm not going to be out physical in this play, and you got to take that approach to every single play of the game. You can't have it be, okay, this play I'm going to be good, next play I'm not. So I think mentally we have to evolve on that and improve on that.
Jamal was saying he thought you guys were starting to get that edge back a little bit in yesterday's practice. Do you feel the same way?
I think so too. I think yesterday's practice was good. Sundays, we had a regular Sunday practice. We just had pads on, and I think it was good for us. I think it just sets the tone for the type of week that we need to have. We need to be physical and try to take the fight to Idaho as much as we can.
As a leader of this team, how do you try and correct the toughness issue? How do you help toughen the guys up?
I think it's just a mentality, like I said before, just mentality. If you feel that you were soft on one play, you didn't use the right technique, you got to get on yourself first, and then if you see one of your teammates not doing that as well, you got to be able to step up and get after them too. So I think the biggest thing is just, like I said, mentality, and just be able to bring it every single day.
And Luke said after the game that he felt like in the first game, the offense was the better side of the ball, and the second game, the defense was the better side of the ball. How confident are you guys that if you can piece everything together, that the season is going to start moving in the direction that you guys wanted to entering the year?
I think I could agree with what Luke said. I think the fourth quarter of the Boise State game, we were able to kind of get a taste of what we're capable of as a team with offense, defense, and special teams all working on the same page, all working together, being down 17, and then just like that, being able to be right back in the position to win the game. And I think getting that taste of how good our team can be if we're all working on all sides of the ball together was encouraging for us. But it was also like a reminder that, if you don't do that, you can get beat by anybody. And so I think, that was good for us, but that's one of our biggest things. We got to rise up on all sides of the ball as a team.
And entering the Idaho game, what do you guys need to prove, not necessarily to anybody outside the locker room, but just to yourselves? What do you need to prove? Is that a big win, being angrier? What are you guys thinking?
Just go out and get a win. We're 0-2 right now. We need to prove to ourselves that we can go out there and come away with a W in the win column. And I think the biggest thing for that is like Coach Leach said, we need to be a tougher team, and we haven't been that through the first 2 games. And I think we're taking that to heart. And I think this week during practice and during the game, we're going to try our best to be tough and be physical.
How would you describe the mentality of the group after the loss to Boise as opposed to after the loss to Eastern?
I would say it stung. Just I don't know. I think we played better as a team overall against Boise, and he's still didn't get that win. And like I said, in the fourth quarter, we kind of got a taste of what we think we can really be as a team. And I think seeing that and then not being able to come away with that win leaves you with a really bad taste in your mouth, like all losses do. But I think not being able to win there at the end of the fourth quarter really hurt us, and gave some extra motivation for this week.
Any questions on the line for Parker Henry?
Hey Parker, it's Tesla with the Seattle Times. What do you remember with the 2013 Idaho game? Because you played some of the special teams in that game, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it was a pretty chippy game from what I remember. I mean, we're 8 miles away from Idaho, and it's kind of bragging rights for the Palouse, I guess. So, we know that they're going to bring it as hard as they can, and we are too. And the game was pretty chippy. As far as I remember, is 2 years ago. But yeah, it was pretty chippy, and we're excited for that. And I know they're going to be physical too, and we're going to try and bring the same mentality.
Does it help your team at all? It's probably more on offense that they have Coach Bresky as their defensive coordinator, and you guys are pretty familiar with what he runs.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I'm assuming they probably run the same defense over there, but I haven't watched any Idaho defensive film, to be honest. But I'm sure they have some of the same concepts, and hopefully Leach can kind of remember what it was like going against them in practice.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the line for Parker? And back in the room.
Parker, Coach was kind of alluding to the team personality after the game. How would you describe the personality of this team?
I'd say we're work in progress right now. I think we've had really good personality. I think all fall camp and all workouts. But I think Leach's biggest thing is why would we have that personality during fall camp and during practices, and then during the first 2 games have a different personality? And I think the biggest thing is we got to carry over from workouts and fall camp practices and just practices during the week. We got to take that mentality and take that personality into the games, because I think at times there's been spots where we've had it, and I think we've shown that we can play really well, and then we've had spots where we haven't had that personality, and we've shown that we can get beat like we have in the first 2 games.
The front 7 did lose 5 guys from its rotation. Is that kind of partly why kind of a new personality needs to form? Some of those guys that were big personalities
Right.
on the team?
I think so, a little bit. I think it's a learning process for a lot of us up front. We're finding out, who's really going to try and step up. We lost some key guys, Destiny, KP, and Ivan and stuff. And they were leaders and defensive leaders on our team, and Jeremiah, obviously. But I think we're learning that we need to find our own identity, and I think we're starting to do that. And I think this week we're really going to try and show that we found it, and hopefully be a springboard for the rest of the season.
You said you haven't watched defensive film, but have you seen Idaho's offense, and what have you seen from them so far?
Mm-hmm. They're a good team. I mean, they beat Montana State. I think the final score of the Washington game didn't reflect necessarily how close of a game it was. They got a couple different quarterbacks, but they have an identity. They know what they want to do on offense, and they're going to try and not compromise and do that against us.
They didn't use their backup quarterbacks that much against the Huskies, but when they did, they were doing some different stuff, running.
Mm-hmm.
Are you watching a lot of film of those backups, or mostly just Linehan?
No, on all of them, because all the quarterbacks bring kind of a different, one quarterback's in the game, I think they're trying to do something specific with that quarterback. So you got to watch film on all 3 of the guys and see what they're doing out there, and you got to know if this guy's in the game, they might be trying to do this type of deal. So, yep.
Parker, how important is it for you guys to put together a complete game against Idaho, just to kind of prove to yourselves that you're ready for the bye week and the Pac-12 conference play? It's
huge. I think not just for going forward, but just for ourselves. We got to prove to ourselves that we can do this, and that we're the team that we think we can be. We all think that we have a good team here, but right now it's just unrealized potential at this point, and that's all it is. If we don't put together a complete game, and if we don't bring our A game, then it could, we gotta have a great game.